I'm here today at the 2012 Connect Arab Summit in Doha, Qatar, with Jim Lacey, who is President and CEO of the Linux Professional Institute, LPI. It provides a global framework to enhance, develop and further lifelong professional careers in Linux and open source technologies. Jim, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you very much. Great to be here.
One of the key themes of the Connect Arab Summit is educating to empower and to open access to employment. You're a panelist on the roundtable dedicated to this theme. Can you tell us a little bit about the role of open source in education in this region?
Sure. Well, one thing that's very critical, I think, when you look at our institute is that we've recently reorganized our mandate from the board level. And we did that because it's very important for us to understand that an institute has to be more than just a testing organization. So some of the things that we're after now are creating a global framework whereby people in different regions can then engage with a particular organization that not only speaks open source, but speaks the native language. And this is critical in today's open source world, especially in the education framework that's being created today. So if you look at the Middle East and some of the examples that the Professional Institute has where we've done projects here, we've been actively involved in projects with the UNDP and working within Lebanon to establish MABAR, and LPI does support MABAR with when we sell exams. You get, we do levy some support to them. We also have worked extensively in Egypt and other areas in the region, and of course now we have this wonderful, wonderful opportunity with ITU to cover the 22 Arab states.
One of LPI's goals is to advance Linux and the open source movement through strategic partners. We've just talked about being in partnership with the ITU and other UN agencies like UNDP. Perhaps you could just tell us a little bit more about these partnerships and what they've achieved.
Yeah, sure. So one of the things that we did early on, as I told you, was we worked with MABAR in Lebanon, and we helped them establish an open source center whereby they could then provide courseware, training and other mentoring services to the population here in the Middle East.
Jim, the partnership agreement with the ITU that you're announcing is to establish Linux Train the Trainer centers in the Arab region. Can you tell us something about this initiative and about how other partners can join you in implementing this initiative?
Sure, be happy to. So the partnership with ITU was architected to make sure that we could provide a train-the-trainer mentoring program for ITU so their trainers could then go back to their ICTs, their training centers, and train others in the region. When we look at the entire population of who we can train, we're looking at near 13,000 people in the 22 Arab states. So it's a very important initiative. On top of that, we'll be making sure that they are certified, the trainers are certified on the Linux Professional Institute certification so that then they have the ability to be credible in the workforce. And when we look at capacity development initiatives, this is certainly one of those.
And this is a very young region. There's a lot of young people around here. Is Linux going to be helping them in their future?
Absolutely. And I think this is maybe the most important point is, you know, when we look at how ITU and LPI organize their business and what their mandates are, we think about very specific things. We think about capacity development. We think about innovation. We think about youth entrepreneurship. We think about digital content. And when you start talking about the youth of today, regardless of whether it's in the Middle East or anywhere else, one of the important concepts is to ensure that they're well educated and well prepared for the different technologies that exist out there today. And as we all know, open source has its roots in community. It has its roots in collaborative work groups. So the younger populations of today are very well suited for the open source environment because they're used to working with these different types of technologies. They're used to working within the framework of social media. And so those are very important concepts that open source has embodied from its inception.
Are there any particular regional concerns that you're particularly aware and focusing on at the LPI?
Yeah, so one of the things we do have issues with are translations of exams. So as you look at different content that's available today, as I mentioned earlier, digital content is very much a focus area for our institute. So as we continue to grow and push more material into the market, we're going to want to make sure that it's in a native language so that people can understand it. And if you look across the landscape, one of the mandates for our institute is to ensure that someone knows if they speak Arabic or they speak French or they speak whatever language it is, they have a telephone number to call or someone to talk to that not only understands the open source technology, but understands the culture and understands the language. So they can then impart that instruction on others and get them into the fold of open source so that they can be successful. Because at the end of the day, really what we're about is empowering people in their careers. And that's the mandate of the Professional Institute.
Jim Lacey, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.